My fiancé cheated on me with my sister, and now they're getting married. Hey, Reddit. I never thought I'd be one of those people airing their dirty laundry here, but here we are. I just need to get this off my chest, and maybe, just maybe, someone out there will have some insight that can help me make sense of it all. So, buckle up, because this one's a doozy. I, 28F, was engaged to Jake, 30M. We'd been together for 5 years, and honestly, I thought he was the one. You know, the kind of love you see in movies, that grow old together and sit on a porch swing kind of love. Jake was charming, kind, and made me laugh until my stomach hurt. We had plans, big ones. A destination wedding in Italy, a cute little house with a white picket fence, and a dog named Milo. Everything seemed perfect. Then came my sister, Emily, 26F. Emily and I were always close, but in that complicated way sisters can be. She was the life of the party, the one everyone loved instantly. I was always the quieter, more responsible one. We didn't compete, at least, I didn't think we did. Turns out, I was wrong. About 6 months ago, I started noticing little things. Jake would go quiet when Emily was around. She'd laugh a little too hard at his jokes. I brushed it off as my own insecurities. Why would I be jealous of my own sister? But then, weird things started happening. Jake's phone, which he used to leave lying around, suddenly had a passcode. He'd get stuck at work more often. And Emily? She started pulling away from me, which was odd. Normally, she'd be the one begging me to go out for brunch or to binge-watch our favorite terrible reality shows. Still, I didn't put the pieces together. Not until the night before my bridal shower. I was at Jake's place, our place, going over seating charts. He was working late, so I figured I'd surprise him with takeout and maybe some wine. You know, something cute. I let myself in, and that's when I heard it. Emily's laugh. I followed the sound down the hall, my heart in my throat, and opened the bedroom door. There they were. Together. My sister, my maid of honor, and my fiancé, tangled up in our sheets. I can't even describe what that moment felt like. It's like my heart dropped straight out of my chest, like I was watching a movie but couldn't turn it off. They didn't notice me right away. Emily was whispering something, and Jake was laughing, like this was some inside joke between them. That's when I lost it. I slammed the door so hard that they both jumped, eyes wide like deer in headlights. Emily scrambled to cover herself, and Jake? He just sat there, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. I didn't say a word. I just walked out. I remember grabbing my purse, my keys, and walking down the street like I was in some kind of daze. I drove around for hours, parked in a random grocery store lot, and just stared at my reflection in the rearview mirror. The next day, I called off the wedding. My parents were devastated, my friends confused. I didn't tell anyone the real reason, not at first. I just said it wasn't working out. But here's where it gets worse. A month later, Emily had the audacity to show up at my apartment. She had the nerve to cry and say she didn't mean for it to happen. That she and Jake just connected and that it was a mistake at first. But guess what? They're engaged now. Yep. My sister and my ex-fiancé are getting married next spring, right around the same time our wedding was supposed to be. And the cherry on top? My parents are supporting them. Apparently, Emily found happiness, and they think I should be the bigger person and come to the wedding. My mom even had the audacity to suggest that I be a bridesmaid. Yeah, no thanks. I've cut off Emily completely. As far as I'm concerned, she's not my sister anymore. Jake? I don't even think about him. But my family? That's what hurts the most. It's like they expected me to just get over it, like my entire relationship meant nothing. I'm trying to move on. Therapy helps. So does wine and my amazing friends who haven't taken their side. But sometimes, in the quiet moments, I wonder, was I ever enough? Was I just a placeholder until Emily came along? I know I dodged a bullet. I know I deserve better. But damn, it still hurts. So yeah, that's my story. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. And if anyone has any tips on how to ghost your entire family and start fresh in another country, let me know. TLDR, my fiancé cheated on me with my sister. They're getting married. My family wants me to be a bridesmaid. Nope. A few weeks after the bombshell, I decided I needed a break from everything, my family, my hometown, even myself, if that makes sense. I packed up my stuff, took a leave from work, and booked a solo trip to Colorado. I didn't have a plan, just a desire to be anywhere but here. Let me tell you, hiking through the Rockies with nothing but your thoughts and a good playlist? It's therapeutic in a way I didn't expect. I'd wake up early, lace up my boots, and just walk until my legs burned and my mind quieted down. It helped, at least for a little while. But of course, the universe couldn't just let me have my peace. One night, after a long day on the trails, I got a text from my mom. "Mom, sweetie, Emily really wants to talk to you. She's been feeling awful about everything." I stared at the screen for a good 5 minutes, debating whether to respond. And then, another message popped up. "Mom, I know it's hard, but forgiveness is important. We're family." Family. Right. I was about to turn my phone off when I saw an email notification from Emily herself. My curiosity got the best of me. It was long, rambling, and full of half-assed apologies. She wrote things like, "I never meant to hurt you, it just happened, and Jake and I didn't plan this, but we couldn't fight our feelings." Blah, blah, blah. But one line stuck out. "You never seemed truly happy with Jake, and maybe deep down, you knew it too." That hit me like a punch to the gut. I tossed my phone across the bed, feeling a mix of anger and something I didn't want to admit, doubt. Had I been settling with Jake? Had I been so focused on the idea of the perfect life that I ignored the cracks? The truth is, I'll never know. And honestly, I don't think I care anymore. After that night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to waste another second thinking about people who didn't value me. I blocked Emily and Jake on everything, social media, phone, even email. Then I called my landlord and told him I wouldn't be renewing my lease. I was done. Done with my past, done with my family's expectations, and done with the version of me that let people walk all over her. Fast forward a couple of months, and guess what? I found a new job in Seattle. Packed my bags, found a cute little apartment with huge windows, and started fresh. And the best part? I met someone. Not in the rebound way, but in the real way. His name's Ryan, and we met at a bookstore of all places. I was struggling to reach a book on the top shelf, Short Girl Problems, and he just walked up, grabbed it for me, and smiled like it was no big deal. We ended up talking for hours over coffee, and before I knew it, I was laughing again, like, really laughing. It's still new, and I'm taking things slow, but for the first time in a long time, I feel like me again. No wedding stress, no betrayals looming over me, just life, one day at a time. As for Emily and Jake? Last I heard, their wedding's still on. I guess karma works in weird ways, because apparently, Emily found out Jake's been texting his ex. Shocker, right? But that's not my problem anymore. And my family? We're civil, but I've learned to set boundaries. They don't get to dictate my happiness anymore. Moral of the story? Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. And if someone betrays you once, don't give them the chance to do it again. To anyone going through something similar, hang in there. The pain won't last forever, and one day, you'll wake up and realize it doesn't hurt anymore. And if all else fails, take a trip to the mountains. It helps. Life in Seattle has been surprising, in the best way possible. I thought starting over would be this long, painful journey, but honestly, it feels like I've been holding my breath for years, and I can finally exhale. Ryan and I have been seeing each other for a few months now, and it's unlike anything I ever had with Jake. There's no pressure, no expectations, just two people genuinely enjoying each other's company. He's the kind of guy who remembers the little things, like how I take my coffee or my weird obsession with true crime podcasts. But, of course, the past has a way of creeping back in when you least expect it. A few weeks ago, I got a call from a blocked number. Normally, I don't answer those, but for some reason, I did. And guess who it was? Jake. I could tell he'd been drinking. His voice was slurred, and he kept saying my name like it was some kind of lifeline. I messed up, okay? I don't even know why I did it. I should have hung up. Every logical part of me knew I should. But I didn't. Instead, I listened. Because, deep down, some tiny, broken part of me wanted to hear him say he regretted it. That I wasn't crazy, that I meant something to him, even if he threw it all away. He went on and on about how things with Emily weren't what he thought they'd be. How she's not you, and how he felt like he made the biggest mistake of his life. Then he said it. I still love you, and I'll leave her if you say the word. I actually laughed. Out loud. Because the audacity of this man was insane. Jake, I said, trying to stay calm, you didn't just cheat. You cheated with my sister. You humiliated me, you broke my trust, and you expect me to just, what? Take you back? There was silence. Then, he sighed and muttered something about how he thought we could move past it. I hung up. Blocked the number. And for the first time in months, I felt nothing but relief. Not sadness, not regret, just relief. After that, I realized something. I wasn't angry at Jake anymore. I wasn't even angry at Emily. I was done. Speaking of Emily, word on the grapevine, aka my cousin who's still talking to me, is that their wedding has been postponed. Apparently, Emily caught Jake texting not just his ex, but multiple women. Some things never change, huh? A small, petty part of me wanted to send her a told you so text. But honestly, she's not my problem anymore. Instead, I've been focusing on myself, building this new life, making new friends, and doing things I never did before. I started painting again. I even signed up for a pottery class, and let me tell you, I am terrible at it. Like, my vase looked like something out of a horror movie. But it's fun, and that's all that matters. And Ryan? He's been patient with me. He knows I'm still healing, and he's not trying to rush anything. The other day, he told me something that stuck with me. He said, you don't have to be okay all at once. Just take it one day at a time. And I think that's the best advice I've ever gotten. So yeah, life isn't perfect. I still have moments where I feel a pang of sadness when I think about the family I lost. But I'm finally realizing that losing them wasn't really my loss at all, it was theirs. And I'll be damned if I let it hold me back anymore. TLDR, Jake tried to crawl back after realizing he screwed up, Emily's living her karma, and I'm finally happy in my new life with a guy who actually treats me right. Life goes on, and it's better than I thought it could be. A few more months passed, and honestly, life in Seattle started feeling like home in a way I never expected. I made friends, found my groove at work, and even got a cat. His name's Oliver, and he's a judgmental little fluffball who watches me like he's constantly disappointed in my life choices. But hey, I love him. Ryan and I have been getting closer too. We took a weekend trip to Portland, and somewhere between bookstore hopping and eating way too many donuts, I realized I was falling for him. Hard. It scared me at first, like, really scared me. What if I was just repeating the same mistakes? What if I was ignoring red flags again? But then one night, I caught myself watching him while he was cooking dinner in my tiny apartment kitchen, just casually humming along to a bad 80s playlist, barefoot, like he belonged there. And I thought, maybe love doesn't have to be so complicated. Maybe it can just exist. Of course, just when I start feeling secure, the universe likes to throw curveballs. I got a text from my mom. "Mom, can we talk? Please, it's important." My stomach did that weird sinking thing it always does when it comes to my family. But against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her for coffee. When I walked into the cafe, she was already there, stirring her latte like it was the most important thing in the world. She looked up and gave me this small, hopeful smile. "Hi, sweetheart." I sat down, crossing my arms. "What's up, Mom?" She hesitated, then blurted it out. "Emily's pregnant." I didn't react at first. I just blinked at her, trying to process it. "Okay, and?" "She wants you to be a part of it," Mom said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. "She knows she hurt you, and she's really sorry. But you're her sister. This baby is going to be your niece or nephew." I laughed, and not the good kind. "Mom, she ruined my engagement. She's marrying my ex. And you think a baby is supposed to fix all that?" Mom sighed. "Honey, family is complicated. Mistakes happen. But we have to move on." I shook my head, staring at the coffee in front of me. "I have moved on, Mom. But that doesn't mean I forget what she did." She looked disappointed, like she expected some big hallmark moment where I'd suddenly forgive everything and rush to Emily's side. But that's not how real life works. I told her I needed time to think, but in my heart, I already knew my answer. Later that night, I told Ryan about it. He listened, like really listened, without offering those cliché family is everything lines. After I finished venting, he just said, "You don't owe them anything, you know that, right?" And damn, did I need to hear that. I ended up sending Emily a short, polite text. "Me, congrats. I wish you the best. But I need space, and I'm not ready to be a part of this. No long explanations. No guilt trips. Just honesty." She responded with a simple, "I understand." And maybe, for the first time, she actually did. Since then, I've been focusing on my own life. I got a promotion at work, finally painted something I'm proud of, and Ryan and I are planning a trip to Europe next summer. And the best part? For the first time in a long time, I don't feel like I'm running from my past. I'm just living. Emily's choices aren't my burden anymore. My family's disappointment isn't my problem to fix. I'm allowed to be happy, on my terms. And that's exactly what I'm doing. It's been a few months since I had that conversation with my mom, and honestly, I'm starting to feel like I've finally turned a corner. I've stopped looking over my shoulder, wondering if I'm making the right decision, or if I'm missing something important. Instead, I've been learning to trust myself in ways I didn't think were possible. Ryan and I have been great. Not perfect, but real. We've had the usual bumps, misunderstandings, the occasional miscommunication, but the difference now is that I can breathe through it. There's no drama, no games. Just a partnership, something I never fully understood before. I don't feel like I have to fight to be heard. I don't feel like I'm competing for attention, or love, or validation. It's just there. But even though everything feels right with Ryan, I still have this lingering question in the back of my mind: what now? I guess the truth is, I never thought I'd be the divorced or broken person. I always envisioned my life going one way: get married, have kids, be happy. Yet here I am, in my late 20s, living in a city I never thought I'd settle in, with a man who is teaching me how to love again, without any of the baggage. And then, of course, my sister strikes again. A few weeks ago, I got a letter. It was from Emily. It wasn't a text or an email, but a handwritten letter, old school, in cursive, the way she used to write when we were kids. I'll admit, I was curious, but I almost didn't open it. Part of me still didn't want to know what was inside. But eventually, I did. Dear, your name. I know it's been a long time since we've talked, and I understand that I don't deserve any grace from you. I've been selfish, and I've hurt you in ways I can never fully make up for. But I'm writing because I need you to know the truth. I'm sorry. Not just for what I did, but for not understanding how much you meant to me. I thought I was entitled to Jake. I thought you'd always forgive me, like you always did. But this isn't just about me and Jake anymore. It's about the person I've become, and the one I need to be. I've spent so much time blaming others for my mistakes, but I see now that I've been running from my own responsibility. I've been looking for love in all the wrong places, thinking that I could fill the hole inside me with validation, with men, with attention, but I can't. And I've been letting people down because of it. Especially you. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know that I've changed. And I miss you. I miss the person you were, before I messed everything up. If you ever decide that I'm worth having in your life again, I'll be here. No matter what that looks like. Love. Emily. I sat there holding the letter, staring at it for longer than I care to admit. I didn't know what to think or feel. Part of me wanted to throw it away immediately, to pretend like it never happened, to stick to my guns and stay angry. But another part of me, somewhere deep down, felt a pang of something like longing. Like maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for us to find our way back to each other, even if it wasn't what it used to be. I spent the rest of the night processing it, talking it through with Ryan, who was incredibly understanding, but also very blunt in his own way. You don't owe her anything. If she's changed, great. But that doesn't mean you have to let her back into your life. I knew he was right. I didn't have to let her back in. But part of me still wanted to, for some reason I couldn't fully explain. After a few days of stewing over the letter, I decided to write her back. Not to forgive her, not to give her the chance to hurt me again, but to clear the air. To let her know that while I wasn't ready to jump back into the sisterhood we once shared, I wasn't going to keep carrying around that weight of bitterness either. Dear Emily. I got your letter. I won't lie, I didn't know what to think when I read it. It's been a long time since we've spoken, and even longer since I've been able to look at you without feeling the weight of everything that's happened between us. You're right. You hurt me, in ways I can't easily put into words. I don't think I'll ever fully understand why you did what you did, or how you could have been so blind to what it meant to me. But I've realized something in the time since, holding on to the anger is only hurting me. You've done what you've done, and I've done what I've done in response, but it's in the past now. And I'm done letting it control my present. I'm not ready to be your sister again, not yet, maybe not ever. I can't pretend like nothing happened. But I do hope that one day, maybe when the dust has settled, we can start fresh. But that will only happen if I see real change, not just words, but actions. And I won't rush that. Thank you for apologizing. I needed to hear that, even if it doesn't change everything overnight. Take care of yourself. Your name. I sent it off, feeling a strange sense of peace. There was no grand reconciliation. There were no tears, no promises of a future together. But that was okay. I didn't need that right now. It was like I finally let go of the last thread tying me to the past. There's still a long road ahead, and I'm not sure what it'll look like. Maybe Emily and I will find a way back to each other, and maybe we won't. But either way, I'm moving forward. I'm choosing happiness for myself. And that's the most freeing feeling in the world. TLDR, Emily sent me a heartfelt apology letter, and after some thought, I decided to write her back, not to forgive her immediately, but to acknowledge the past and start moving forward. I'm learning to let go of the bitterness and focus on my own happiness. Life's too short to carry the weight of resentment forever. I guess you could say this is the final chapter of a story that feels like it's been written in fits and starts, with more plot twists than I ever thought possible. But life has a funny way of working itself out when you least expect it. After sending that last letter to Emily, I didn't hear from her for a while. I figured she needed time to process, just like I did. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything more. I didn't need closure, or some grand reunion, or even an apology. What I needed was to live my life on my terms, without worrying about whether the people who hurt me would ever come around. And that's what I've done. A month later, I got a message from Emily, just a simple text. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity got the best of me. It was short, almost matter of fact. Emily, I just wanted to say I'm glad you're doing well. I'm happy for you, your name. Really. And I respect where you're at with everything. I'm still figuring things out, but I think we're both better off for it. There was nothing in that message that screamed I'm sorry or let's fix this, but for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel a thing. No bitterness. No anger. Just acceptance. I replied, keeping it simple. Me, thanks, Emily. Take care of yourself. And that was it. No drama. No rehashing of the past. It felt like we were finally starting to untangle the mess we'd made of our relationship, and I was okay with it. More than okay, actually. As for Ryan? Well, we're still together. We're not rushing into anything serious, but I feel like I'm in a much better place to be with him. I'm able to be honest, without all the baggage. And he's not rushing me, either. He's just there, which is exactly what I need. So, yeah, the whole thing with Jake, Emily, and my family was an incredibly painful chapter in my life. But looking back, I realize it was also a lesson in self-worth. I learned how to stand up for myself, how to love without fear, and how to move forward without being dragged back into the past. And now, every morning when I wake up in my little apartment in Seattle with Oliver curled up on my pillow, I feel free. Maybe things didn't go the way I planned. Maybe I didn't get the happy ever after I thought I wanted. But the life I have now? It's better than I could have imagined. And that's all I really need. TLDR, Emily reached out with a simple, respectful message, and I realized that all the closure I needed was already inside me. I'm finally in a place where I can move forward, with Ryan, with myself, and with no more regrets. Life doesn't always go as planned, but it's still good.